I'm going to give you a basic step-by-step process for how things go through the laundry. This is the soiled area, and all linen comes into the plant through these dock doors. They move from here to the scale where it's weighed in. From the scale, it goes over to the sort deck. This is kind of the heart of the soiled side of the program here. Soil linen comes in from the dock and comes over to these two dump stations. From the dump stations, those turn up and the linen falls onto these tear-out tables, and they'll pull the linen out of those bags. They'll put the bags into a cart right next to it, which will be later baled and sent off to a plastics recycling company. The linen then goes up those conveyors, and at the top there are LED displays in front of every sort window. Those displays offer the operator a picture of what exactly needs to be thrown into that particular sort window. That way we have all of the linen sorted for proper dispersal out on the finish floor, as well as for the particular wash formulas that we have for any given product that comes through the line. All of those slings on the sort deck are automatically weighed. They have load cells on them so that the loads are weighed. The product information, such as the customer and the product codes, are also a part of that process. And so the computer and the system know what precisely is in every one of those bags before they go into the washing machines. When they do transfer into the washing machines, that data is handed off to the washing machines themselves, and then when it comes out on the other side, it's handed off to the clean side rail system. So that information never leaves the product. Now we're in what we call the wash aisle, and it comprises basically all of our washing equipment. These are conventional washers, and in these we do stain formulas. Any aggressive washing that we need to get stains out of our linens, we do in these smaller washers. We're now in front of the tunnel system, and I want to point out a couple of unique features that are kind of party to the entire wash aisle. This stainless steel piece of equipment back here that's vibrating is used to pull lint and solid product out of the water before we discharge it to the sewer. We have multiple filtration processes throughout the wash process before we discharge to the sewer to make sure that that water is as clear as possible before it goes out. Now we're in front of the second tunnel washer, and you can see this is the control system that manages the tunnels. As you can see, there are multiple numbers on each one of these modules, and there are 8 modules in this whole overall tunnel system. These numbers tell us the temperature of the water in that particular module, tells us the weight of the product that's in that module, and it tells us how many transfers per hour have occurred. All of that kind of information can be gleaned from this or other screens in the control system. From this vantage point, the operator can also tell whether or not there's a problem with the press on the other side of the wall and what dryers are going to be available at any given time in this process, so that we know that we're not going to have a tunnel hold because a dryer's not available or because the press may be at fault. He can take care of all of those things from this position. Now we're on the clean side of the laundry. Behind me are presses. The tunnels dump into those presses, and the water is extracted from the linens inside those. From those, they go into this elevator and climb up and drop into this sack. This is a press-to-dry rail system. It takes the linens from the presses to the dryers. This used to be done with shuttles, which were hard metal and dangerous. So this takes a lot of the danger out of the workplace. This is the control center for the dryers. As you can see, we have multiple controllers here. These computers tell us the name of the customer, what product is in any given sack or any given load as it comes out of the dryers, and it lets us know where to send it out on the floor. If you look at any of these screens, you can see what the temperature of the dryer is inside. You can also see the temperature of the tunnel water on the other side, on the soil side of the facility. We have all sorts of cameras on our equipment here that can tell us how smoothly the product is going through the system. We know whether or not it's jamming up, and it allows us to be able to keep that flow going at a very steady pace. We chose this equipment not just because it does a good job, but because it also works efficiently. All of the dryers have an emission sensor that gets measured before it goes to the atmosphere, so we can maintain very low NOx emissions discharge. We have probably the lowest burning natural gas burners on any dryers in the industry, and we have extremely efficient drum sizes, which allows for real good airflow and very quick dry times. Now we're in the first stages of the finish line. Behind me is a sheet ironing line. There are 3 major pieces of equipment in this particular line: a feeder, an ironer, and a folder on the back end. We can process approximately 1,200 sheets an hour on these 2 feeding stations. All of the sheets that come to this station are delivered by the overhead rail system. They drop into this cascade sheet picker, and individual sheets are delivered to the workstation so they can easily grab them and put them onto the feeding arms. Additionally, in this area, we have our steam tunnel. It handles the finishing of garments like lab coats, scrub suits, warm-up jackets. Those things that you see medical professionals wear in the hospitals are handled through that machine. This area of the facility is the finishing stations. Over here to my right are the blanket folders, which do thermal blankets and bath blankets and all large type full dry products. Over on that side is small piece folders. They handle patient gowns, towels, anything of a medium to small size goes through those. Now we're at the end of the finishing line. All of the linens come through the folding stations. From here it goes down to the end of the conveyor where the linens are loaded into carts for staging to be delivered to our customers. Everything that comes onto the conveyor is nicely folded and ready for packaging. Now we're in front of the pack room. We prepare surgical packs for hospitals in this room. We inspect the linen very closely to make sure it's not frayed in any way. Frays have a tendency to hold on to microbial load, so we make sure that all of that is in really good shape, and then we assemble surgical packs for our hospital customers. This might be a good time to talk about some of the lighting in the plant. At every workstation, including in the pack room, we have high bay lights that give illumination to the plant, and then we also have station lighting, which brings 70-foot candles of lighting concentration to every workstation. And that's the optimal, if you will, lighting amount that allows the eye to be able to distinguish between cast shadow and stain on white linens. And that's why we choose this particular level of lighting. As you walk through the plant, if the lights are off, as you have motion in the plant, just walking into the plant will turn the lights on where you are and follow you throughout the plant. So as long as there's motion in the plant, the lights will be on. When there's no motion in the plant, the lights turn off all by themselves after 15 minutes. It's one of the attributes that we needed to put into the plant to gain the LEED certification that we have. We're now in the mechanical room, and behind me is the heat exchange system that we use to more efficiently use heat. Below the floor is a wastewater pit that comes from the wash area that you saw at the beginning of the tour. When those washing machines discharge their water, it comes over here and is filtered of lint and various other suspended solids. What you see over here, that stainless piece of equipment that's vibrating, is a lint trap. It basically pulls that product out. Down below, that water still has temperature, It's probably 140 to 160 degrees. From that, we take it through tubes in this plate and frame heat exchanger. So inside tubes, so it doesn't actually mix with the incoming inlet water, but it still goes by and allows, and the inlet water draws heat off the discharge water to allow us to raise that temperature of the inlet water by between 20 and 40 degrees without actually using any natural gas or additional energy to heat that water up. From that location, the discharge water then goes through a sampling system so we know that the suspended solids are removed and off to the sewer. The clean water that's gone past it to receive that thermal energy goes into a tempered water tank back here on the other side of the system. That then goes through a boiler system that is low pressure that heats it up the rest of the way to wash temperature and then deposits it into the hot water tank right here on this side. The tanks behind me comprise the water softening equipment for the facility. They take all of the hardness out of the water and allow the chemicals that we use in the wash process to be much more efficient when we use them. Over here we have the direct contact natural gas water heaters. They are not high pressure steam boilers. In most facilities like this, we use high pressure steam. Here we use low pressure direct contact natural gas water heaters, and these are much more efficient. About 27% less natural gas usage using these than using standard boilers. Over here on this side, these are air compressors that provide the high pressure air that we need for all of the folding equipment that you saw on the finish line. The reason we have 2 of these air compressors and 2 of these boilers is to provide redundancy. In a healthcare laundry, we're critical path to the healthcare process, so we can't afford to be down in terms of production at any time. All of our customers rely on our delivery, and they can actually be shut down if they don't have the linens there. So we always make sure we have a backup in these critical systems. This is perhaps the most state-of-the-art commercial laundry dedicated to healthcare anywhere in the world. It's a fully automated system. It's LEED certified. It employs the absolute cutting edge of technology in all of the equipment that we have in this facility, or that's even available in the industry.